Hey everyone, Mark Stepp here. Just wanted to give you a little bit of an update on some of the things that we were working on. So last week we talked about the connections piece and how the ability to connect records, one record to another, was added, and that is working really good. I think we've got some good stuff going. Here's my record, Mark Stepp, and here you can see different connections. The way we've got that set up, it was pretty simple. Just clicking on the add connection button itself, selecting a person of some sort, say Kathy, choosing the connection. Got lots of different connection capabilities, spouse, and the reciprocal of spouse to spouse. So whenever I add her to me, it adds me to her as the reciprocal. And we've got some things in there for referrals and stuff. I won't really go into that. But what this does is it allows that record to be in here. Spouse will always be the first item in the list. And then after that, it's alphabetical. The reason for doing this probably wasn't as evident as maybe you would think. Obviously we want to be able to connect records and be able to use them, but the using was the important part. So wanted to kind of show you where I was at on another part of this project so that once you've got people connected, how you can actually use them. So whenever you go into the routine editor, and this is a brand new area that is part of the SAM 2.0, I've been working on the ability to edit the routines that Cody had originally set up. Previous to me coming on board, he had the routine editor being able to do routines, which was great, but there are some types of calculations that are important to have and probably less evident just because of some things that he didn't know and how things were set up in real estate and some of the important things. So one thing that just kind of show you an example here is that for maybe a birthday thing, most of the routines are going to be on a given date. So you can kind of go through and do that. But whenever you start a routine, sometimes you want to start it, have some activity that runs on the day that you actually started. So I've added a start date option. No biggie that we had that in other applications. But also the ability to say, well, on certain days of the year, we want to be able to do that as well. So this is one routine that actually has all three of them. Just kind of want to show that. So that piece has been added to be able to facilitate those needs for being able to do things on birthdays. So 4 days before, on the birthday, some automatic stuff, some actions that get done. Then there's also the times when you want to do something on the day that you actually start the routine, the workflow, and also things that happen on given days of the year, July 1st, July 4th, stuff like that. So there's some capability. Now, what kind of the need for the connection piece that I said wasn't all that evident is this. This is something brand new that, well, everything here is brand new, but it's brand new to what we've been working on. And so let's say, for instance, you want to, and this is just a sample piece here. Say I want to create a routine activity, some kind of activity that maybe sends out some information to a new lead. Let's say, intro email, whatever. It really doesn't matter. And you can say, well, I want to do it, 3 days after the entry date, whatever. And some other possibilities or things that you can do. One of the really cool things is the ability to set up daily processes. So if there's something that you want to do at 9 o'clock every morning, you do certain things at 9 o'clock, you can now name those, do those in groups, and you're not specifying just one time a day. You can actually specify multiple times. So that's in there. But here's where it gets fun. In the action, whenever you're doing some kind of automated action like this one being, some kind of intro email, you can click on to add an action. The action is the automation, and we've improved this from the last time that you may have seen this. If you've seen any of Cody's demos that he's done, you can give that action a title. It defaults to whatever the action type is. In this case, it's to send a message. Great, we want to send a message. The title is defaulted to send a message. You might want to then say, well, which message do I want to create? The cool thing here is that you can select a template, or you can type in an objective and have it create the content for you. Now, I kind of prefer a hybrid between the two, where you can specify a template. So maybe we come in here and we choose, some template of some sort, and we say we want to modify it or augment it a little bit for each person and personalize it. So you get the benefit of a structured piece of content within your template, but the creativity piece of being able to set up an objective and it change that content, it will let you approve it before it goes out. So never fear there. But here's where it really gets fun. Each action can be assigned to somebody that is going to receive it, okay? The message recipient. By default, it's going to be whoever the routine contact is. Who did I start that routine on? But we can change that if we want, or we can add additional recipients to the list. In this case, maybe I want to send something to a connection type, a connected person of some sort, and I want to send it to maybe the spouse. So I click on spouse and save. So now within the action of this activity, it will take whatever's being created, the content of this template, change it if it needs to with some kind of objective, make sure it's an email, and then it will send it to the appropriate people. If there is a connected spouse in the record, which is why we needed this, then at that point, these two will be in there. Now, you do have the ability to say, well, I don't want to put it in the two. I want to put them in the CC and go that route. So you can add as many different recipients as needed. Maybe you want to also add a connected person that is the agent, or something like that. And BCC them. You can certainly do that type of thing as well. So the connectivity part that we had added last week now becomes more evident why we needed that in order to bring in those connected people. And you can create an endless number of recipients, but also the recipient type, the connections, and be able to use them in a multitude of ways. So just wanted to show you that kind of where we're at on that process. So whenever you're sending it, there's lots of other capabilities in that, but that was kind of the main piece there, being able to set it up to send out content to different people. Now, just going back in there, just to kind of give you a synopsis of something here. Whenever you go in here, there are other types. The routine contact, the main contact that you're started the routine on, is one. You can say, well, I want to pull and create a CC or BCC to some alternate contact, somebody that's in my database, but not the routine contact. And you can certainly do that. And you can pick from the list. You can select a person in the database, and maybe it's the photographer or something like that. You can specify those. You can go in there and say, well, I don't have them in my database, but I want to always send something BCC'd to a certain email address. Certainly can be done now. That's awesome. You can do the same type of thing with SMS. You can also do an email to one of your team members. So if we've got some team member that you want to make sure you send to, that is there, and just pick them from the list, or the record owner of the database. So we got 7 different types, and they pull data from different places, but basically you're just needing to get the email address or the SMS phone number from those different entities and being able to include them so that whenever the action itself actually gets sent, it does the sending process, it can now send it to any number of people, either to CC or BCC, any of those people. So some really cool stuff. If you guys will take a look at this and give me your thoughts, do you like this? Do you not like this? Is there something that you think of that, hey, Mark, can you do this or that or the other thing? I really need to know that. That's kind of what this group is here for. So that's kind of the important things that we're doing now. We're building lots of parts and pieces, bring this back to where I know real estate agents need to have a CRM. There's certain things, functionality that has to be there. And I'm building that into the system. I have that ability now because I know how to build within the structure that Cody had originally built. So some really cool stuff coming down the pipe. We've got some really, really interesting ideas that we're kicking around and lots of other stuff. So hope you enjoyed that. I know it was kind of a little bit long. I just wanted to keep it at a few minutes, but it was a little bit longer than I wanted, but hope that is good for you. If you have any other questions, reach out. Talk to you later.